isn't just exercise to me. It's my lifelong anchor. Hi, I'm Yoonha, and let me rewind and show how it shaped who I am. If you press rewind button all the way back, you will find me in a white taekwondo uniform. I was pretty quiet as a kid, not the loud, super confident type at all. But taekwondo was the first place where I realized something important. If I show up and repeat the same thing every day, I can really change. Kicks, forms, basic drills, it was all repetition. I didn't have the words back then, but looking back now, that was the first moment I learned what discipline really feels like. Taekwondo gave me discipline, but it wasn't the only thing I did. I also did tap dance. I still remember the sounds of shoes on stage in front of thousands of people. It was one of the first times movement felt like pure joy. Then there was horseback riding, totally different, right? But I loved it. Being on a horse, trying to communicate by posture and energy, was a really special feel. I wasn't thinking about exercise or training. It was really fun. It was just fun. So even at that age, I was 7 years old, movement wasn't just about sports. It was already connected to expression, to emotion, and to connection. And then short track. This is probably the most intense chapter of my life. I started by accident. I went skating with some friends, and the coach told me that my posture looked good and asked me to try some few things. That's how I ended up joining the team. I stayed in short track more than 5 years, basically all through elementary school. I wasn't just skating for fun. I was in athletes group, wearing competition skate, going to meets, winning some prizes. But what really stayed with me wasn't the medal. It was the routine. While other kids were going to playgrounds after school, I went to the rink. After practicing, we ran, we did laps on tracks, we ran upstairs and we did ab trainings. It was intense, especially as a kid. At that time, I just remember feeling tired a lot. But now I see clear. That's when I learned how to endure things. Short track was the first time I realized that effort can be really painful, but also really meaningful. That experience made me mentally tougher in a way that I don't think I could have ever learned by studying and sitting still.
유나가 잘 되기를, 인생 성공자가 되기를 바라는, 그리고 또 좋은 사람들과 어울려 사는 그런 능력을 배우기를 바랬습니다. 그리고 제일 기억나는 게 유나는 좀 독특한 점이 있었어요. 엘레멘터리 스쿨 1학년 때 쇼트트랙 스케이팅을 했을 때 이제 코너를 돌다가 넘어져서 쇄골이 골절이 나서 굉장히 고통을 받은 적이 있는데, 그럼에도 불구하고 그 해에 한 두어 달 후에 KBS 누가 잘하나라는 그 전국 방송에 이렇게 깁스를 하고서 나갔던 그런 기억이 납니다. 끝나고 얼마 안 돼서 한 1, 2개월 됐을까요? 1학년 태권도 검은띠 승단 심사를 볼 때 그 앞에서 굉장히 감개무량했습니다. 그 아픔을 참고 그 품새를 해가지고 품새 최우수상을 받았거든요. 그 우수상이 문제가 아니라 내 딸이 그 역경을 딛고 뭔가 의지를 발휘하는 모습은 지금도 눈물이 날락말락하네요.
After I quit short track, I didn't quit because I hate it. I just didn't want to become a professional athlete. But my dad knew that I really enjoy movement, so he kept opening the door for me. He's the reason I got to try so many things. Tennis for a year, golf for another year, and dance, more of the dance, and just always something physical in my life. I realized something through that. I don't get tired of learning new movements. I actually like focusing on myself, listening to instruction, and turning words into movements. Not everyone enjoys that, but I do. And that told me about something who I am. High school was a bit different. I didn't have time to commit a big serious sports like before, but I still didn't take a full break from movement. I went to gym whenever I could. I played badminton after school, and honestly, I always tried to do well in PE. I was in dance club, so I kept dancing too. And dance had always stayed with me from 6th grade until now. When I turned 20, something had changed again. Suddenly, there were so many choices. I could spend time on schools, friends, self-development, on networking, reading, content, literally anything. And I realized something kind of scary. If I don't choose where my time goes, something else will choose for me, like school system, or just random scrollings, or other people's schedules. That's when exercise time became really important. When I spend on time working out and doing my movements, that time is 100% for me. I'm not performing for grade, I'm not trying to impress anyone, I'm just spending time with myself. For me, movement does that too. It makes my day feel more intentional, like I'm actually choosing my life instead of just reacting. These days, I like golf, but I've fallen in love with Pilates. There's a Pilates reformer on the first floor, and I've started teaching some of my friends. I am not a certified instructor, but I have done the movements enough time that I can help with postures, alignments, and breathings. And it's really fun. One of my friends always jokes like, I want to be lean and strong like you. And she tells me that Pilates with me is fun. Watching their faces after session when they feel lighter, more open, or just proud of themselves makes me so happy. Movement used to be something I did for myself. Now it's also something I can share, and that feels like a new kind of growth.
It's really fun because I've never tried Pilates in my life. So if it hadn't been for Yunha, I would have never experienced Pilates in my life. When I feel stressed out, I ask Yuna to do Pilates together, and she always welcomes me. So I'm very grateful to have Yuna as my Pilates partner.
For me, movement is also deeply connected to mental health. When I'm stressed or overwhelmed, the fastest way for me to feel like myself is to move. When my muscle relaxes, my mind relaxes too. When my breathing becomes steady, my brain becomes clearer. One of my friends is a doctor, and she once told me how things like microbiome and regular exercise can affect mood, stability, and mental clarity. Hearing that from her made everything click. It wasn't just in my head. That movement was helping me.
My name is Leah Merlin. I'm a dentist from Germany. So the microbiome basically is a conglomerate, like a combination of several different bacteria that live inside and outside of our bodies. What we feed the bacteria, they're going to process that. They're going to produce specific molecules that then go into our blood vessels and from there on stream through our whole body. There actually is a correlation between working out and the microbiome in terms of the long-term effects of working out will change how our microbiome is constituted. So the more we work out is long-term going to have an effect on the types of bacteria that are working inside of us and that are benefiting our health.
There's real science behind it. So, if you ask me, what is your passion? My real passion is this: using movement to build discipline, to manage my stress, and understand myself. Movement has been with me from a little girl in a taekwondo uniform to the exhausted short track athlete to the teenager trying different sports, and now the college student who teaches Pilates to our friends. I don't know exactly what my future job will be yet, but I'm into business. It might be related to fitness or something completely different. But I do know that when hard things happen in my life, and they will, I'm not starting from zero. I already have something that grounds me. A routine, a way to release stress, a way to feel strong again. So, movement is not just one part of my life. It's the thread that runs through all of it. It helped me grow as a kid, it supports my mental health now, and I know it'll be with me no matter what I choose to do in the future. My short-term plan is simple. Keep blocking out my movement time in my schedule, even during the busiest time in this semester, and keep sharing Pilates and other activities with my friends. In the long term, maybe one day get a certification or build a space where people can feel safe, strong, and connect through movements. Thank you for listening to my story.